My name is Samantha Espinosa. This is my week 6 module assignment. There are 5 specific components that will be covered in my training guide. They are flexibility in therapeutic setting, using micro skills, compassionate learning, cultural intentionality, and sharing your gifts. These 5 areas of focus allow counselors to develop meaningful connections to their clients, assist their clients in building the social and emotional skills necessary for their healing process, and promote ongoing purposeful communication during session. So let's go over the 5 topics in my guide. The first is flexibility in therapeutic setting. This entails understanding that there are barriers that might come about for individuals seeking therapy services in a traditional setting. It's important to be aware of this, especially from a culturally sensitive standpoint. Access to transportation, limited communication skills, limited finances, work schedules, family traditions, appointments, and so many other factors can pose as barriers to individuals seeking services. Providing flexibility in the setting and means for therapy allows for a more culturally sensitive approach by removing some of those barriers and increasing accessibility to services. So some of the ways that therapists could do this is by offering virtual visits, which is using technology to facilitate communication between the therapist and the client. Another way would be to adjust their schedules to allow for evening and weekend appointment times for especially jobs that are in the service industry are usually during the main time that the clinics are traditionally open, and providing extended service hours allows for more accessibility. The next topic is micro skills. Using the concept of micro skills, counselors work towards a mastery of building cultural intentionality. These skills are foundational for all types of interviewing and counseling, and it works by breaking down complex components into more precise and manageable segments, and that makes it easier for individuals to learn and for people to teach and for information to be retained. The idea is to always be working on bettering your skill set to become the most effective counselor that you can be. The next topic is compassionate listening. A counselor without effective listening skills is an ineffective counselor. To know, you must understand, and to understand, you must listen. Active listening involves not only hearing what is being said, but paying attention to what is not being said, and those nonverbal means of communication. Compassionate listening also involves actually caring or having an interest in what is being exchanged. Interviewing skills are essential to the therapeutic process, and knowing what questions to ask and what to expand upon and what not to keeps the relevant information flowing and prevents walls from being built around the exchange. The next topic is cultural intentionality. Counselors must be culturally competent to be most effective. This means applying techniques and approaches that are appropriate and acceptable for each individual rather than having a blanket approach for everybody. An effective therapist is one that's able to facilitate a variety of techniques in session and is flexible in their approach when something isn't going as expected or something isn't working. So someone that can pivot in session. Individual therapy is very much a Goldilocks approach where the therapist might have to try a few different techniques and approaches until they find one that is just right for the individual client that they're working with. The last topic is sharing your gifts, and this is just understanding that counselors are essentially helpers. Their interest is in helping others achieve their goals and being a part of their healing experience. Understanding your strengths as a counselor, as a helper, and as a human being is an important part of successful therapy. Identifying the areas in which you excel and demonstrating that expertise in session with clients provides a sense of competence for the client, which makes them more comfortable and builds trust and allows more open communication and vulnerability, which are all really important to healing in a therapeutic setting. It's important to note that while this training guide will serve as a great resource for counselors looking to incorporate these multicultural approaches into their practice, that true understanding, appreciation, and embracement for other cultures is a necessary mindset for successful implementation of a skill. It's not enough to know what to do. It requires actually believing in it and having an open mind to be culturally sensitive and practice culturally sensitive techniques and concepts. It's not really something you can fake it until you make it. You really have to buy into it for it to be sincere. The core essential traits of a therapist, which is sincere empathy, ability to listen, emotional intelligence, coping skills, and social skills, apply, perhaps even more so, when using these techniques and concepts. It's the goal of this training guide to provide a stepping stone resource to counselors and serve as the first step in broadening their practice and expanding their mindset.